Cotton Jones and Gone the Bells here on WNCW, giving me time to walk down to Studio B where we've got Drivin and Cryin live in Spindale. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's great to hear your new record and know that you're playing in the region. Now, we come to get to know you every time around. You come through for the Christmas Jam, Kevin, but tell us a little bit about what Drivin and Cryin has been up to all this time.
We had one last big tour back in 1997. We opened for The Who on the Quadrophenia tour they did, where they just played Quadrophenia start to finish. And that was the last record Drivin and Cryin made. It was called Drivin and Cryin. And then we all got together and make this record called Broken Hearts Auto Parts. And that was on Evil Teen Records. Still is. And it was Mac, Dave, Tim, and myself. And we all went to New York and made a record up there. And then right after that, we decided we are going to make a rock, make some demos for a rock record. And that was we recorded this in June of 2001. Then September 10th, we decided to go back in the studio of 2001, and the world kind of whatever. So we kind of focused on, we did, I think Mac and Dave we did Broken Hearts tour after that, kind of shelved the Drivin and Cryin thing. Then I went to Europe, I did some stuff, and, and then everybody's kind of doing their own thing. Tim has 3 beautiful children now and all that. He got married and had a family life, and the kids are a little grown and all that, and everybody's happening. Mac was working at the Apple store for quite a while. He's the lead guy over there. And Dave Johnson, I kidnapped him. And so it came around, I guess 12 years went by real quick, I guess, and we got a great opportunity from this label in Atlanta called Vintage Earth. This great little new alternative, homegrown Atlanta label. Said, man, we'd love to have Drivin and Cryin make a record. So we're like, all right. So we got together down in Tim's basement, got a 6-pack of beer, and wrote some songs.
There you go.
That's the story.
Well, it's great to hear from you again. And for a lot of
Or you could tell people were just kidnapped by aliens for 12 years. Either one. Either one's good, too.
Well, we know that Drivin and Cryin has not been out of commission. We just know that there hasn't been a record. And it's interesting. I didn't know until really catching this new record that you were wrapped up with 9/11. A lot of things got put on the shelf about that time.
Yeah, well, one of my favorite songs on that record, was I think we demoed it, but it was called "I'm a Spy for the Underground in America." It's like, I'm a spy for the underground in America. And that probably wasn't a good time to put that one out.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
And a lot of the history shared with this radio station and a lot of the sort of sounds that you helped jumpstart back in the late 80s have grown over the past couple of decades as we have. And a lot of that sort of Americana feeling with rock and roll.
Absolutely. You got any comment on that, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to make that contribution. Yeah, we've just been doing what we do. I mean, we play a few different styles of music all in one show, and it always kind of made sense to us. So, we're just trying to bend the rules and have a good time.
You've come to be identified as a Southern band, although you're originally from the Midwest, right?
I'm from the Midwest, from the great state of Wisconsin, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tim's also he went to high school in Atlanta, but
I was born in Minnesota.
Dave Johnson on drums is from Logan, West Virginia, and Mac is actually from Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, there you go. So working with Anton again on this record.
Yeah, I play every Monday night in Manhattan, and I had a little band put together, me and Anton Fear, and then we'd have revolving bass players, Catherine Popper from the Cardinals, or Keith Christopher, one of the founding members of Satellites, or Brett Bass from Enrique Iglesias' band, or Andy Hess sat in a couple times, So Anton was a friend of mine, so he came down and was like an advisor on it, and then wound up helping produce it. So
Anton Fear, who worked on Whisper Tames a Lion.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you've worked since?
Yeah. And me and Anton made a record in New York, too, that might come out sometime.
Right. You've got some other project coming up. Andy Hess is along for that. Is that
the
one?
Yeah, it was me, Anton, and Andy Hess, and Tony Shear from Sex Mob. And, yeah. I think, Andy was in that, wasn't he? I think he was. Or Tony Shear. I think he was, yeah.
Very good. So tell me a little bit about, if there is, I just had this thought, if there is any sort of separation between the audience for Drivin and Cryin versus some of your solo projects, Kevin? Do both of those spectrums meet? I know they're musically that you're more into of maybe a folk vein and less power rock in your solo stuff.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, the solo stuff. You know, I also have a band with Dave Johnson and Brian Howard that's on Tingle Angel Revival, which is kind of loud too. But I kind of separate it into different eras. That band is kind of like what Drivin and Cryin was and could have been if we hadn't made Fly Me Courageous. It's kind of up until Mystery Road. We do Drivin and Cryin songs up until Mystery Road, and then we write our own stuff kind of from there. The folk stuff is just stuff I work out, and But Drivin and Cryin is an entity all to itself. It's a shared vision. Between me and Tim have had this thing for years, and Dave and Mac, we've been doing these shows for over 10 years now.
The fans definitely do cross over. I mean, there's a lot of people, I mean, especially in Europe, that love Kevin Kinney that don't care for Drivin and Cryin, but most Drivin and Cryin fans still love the Kevin Kinney solo stuff.
And there's probably a lot of people in Germany that love Drivin and Cryin and hate Kevin Kinney.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say Europe. I should say Holland.
Yeah, Holland. Or
I love
it depends
you.
on where you are.
Why do you have that long hair going around and around? I don't like this.
Yeah. Holland is very brutally honest. Me and Dave did a show in Holland one time. It was a great show. It was sold out. It was at this Leeuwarden, Holland, and after we finished the show, the guy was, "Oh, that was a fantastic show. Perhaps maybe you should do some sit-ups." We're like, "Wow,
Yeah.
these people are awesome."
Think out loud.
They think out loud.
It's the hash talking.
Oh my!
So I don't know.
Wow.
How do we get to that part of the
I don't know.
conversation? I have no idea.
We're live at Studio V with Drivin and Cryin today on WNCW and touring in support of their new record. The first one in 12 years is called The Great American Bubble Factory. And the story behind that, looking at the bubble, the blow bubbles in the store and figuring out, like, why this is so simple. Why can't we make that here?
Right. Well, I had a conversation with myself about factories a little bit before that, thinking about, where's the factories at, and then that just triggered it. I was like, God, man, come on. Bubbles? Jesus. We can make those in North Carolina. Come on.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on around here?
Well,
So,
we can hopefully still make some good music.
we make, we
gotta
make the
beat
best
that
music.
department.
Live from Drivin and Cryin in Studio V on WNCW this afternoon, Kevin Kinney and Tim Nelson, Matt Carter, Dave V. Johnson, back together again. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Hey, man, thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thank
Best
you
of-
so much
thank
for
you.
having us.
Best of luck with the new record, The Great American Bubble Factory, and live tonight at Amos's South End in Charlotte. To take me back up the hall, here is Floating Action and 50 Lashes on WNCW.